How's it going, neighbors? This is Ed here with etrailer.com, and we're taking a look at the Romik RECTP running boards on our 2025 Ram 1500. Now, when you add running boards to your vehicle, not only are you getting additional function where you're getting an easier step to get into the vehicle and additional traction when it's wet or slick outside, but in my opinion, I think you're adding a little bit of style and personal flair to your truck. So let's take a closer look at our running boards and see what's special about them. So as far as your area where you can place your foot, it's 5.5 inches across. More likely you're going to hit it like that. And you're going to have these raised nubs here made out of this polymer. Now this is going to be similar to the plastics that come from Ram on the exterior of your vehicle. So it's going to hold up against any of the heat and cold that your truck's going to experience no matter where you are. So installation is pretty easy. We're actually setting up the brackets using a different running board, but the process is exactly the same. It's just a different style. And the vehicle that we're using is a 2025. So, it may vary between the different models. Just make sure you're using our fit guide that's included on our site. So let's grab our tools and I'll show you how to get it installed. So we're going to get our installation started, and we're going to grab a few different things to get this going pretty smooth. You're going to need a torque wrench. You don't necessarily need one fancy like this. If you take a look at etrailer.com, we offer a little bit less professional style torque wrenches that'll still get the job done. You're going to need a few wrenches. Well, a couple wrenches. It would be handy to have a 15 millimeter and a 13 millimeter, as well as your ratchet wrench. And you're going to need a 13 millimeter socket as well as a 15 millimeter socket. So now we're going to lay out all of our hardware, and the way that it works on both sides is pretty similar. You're going to have 3 points of contact underneath, and I'm just going to put together everything that I need for each one of those sections. So you're going to have both your exterior bracket and the bracket that goes against the inside body on the studs. You're going to have 3 of your 13 millimeter nuts that go on the studs themselves. And then you're going to connect the lower bracket using your 15 millimeter hardware. So let's go ahead and hop underneath and get started. So the studs that you're going to make your connection with your bracket with are right here underneath. You're going to see that they're in different configurations depending on if they're in the front, middle, or rear. One step that you don't want to pass up on is actually cleaning the studs off using an M8 die. You're going to want to go through to get all the paint and the anti-corrosion off so you can get a real grip with the nuts on the studs themselves. Now you want to make sure that this ridge is pointing away from the vehicle itself, and you can just use 13 millimeter nuts to hand tighten along the studs. Now you don't want to actually start snugging it down too much yet, because you're going to want this maneuverability for when you're getting the running board on the brackets. Now our bracket is adjustable, and that's one of the things that's really cool about this setup. But on the 1500 Ram, you have 4 possession setups, and you can only go to the 3rd hole. So you would not be able to get that highest level on this particular setup. However, you can go 3 up. And you can take your hardware. You're going to use your 15 millimeter bolt and nut. I'm just going to put them both through to kind of stabilize it. And then we're still just hand tightening. We still want it to be nice and loose so we can position our Nerf bar a lot easier. I'm going to go do the same thing on my other brackets. So as far as our running board, you can see that we have 4 sets of hardware along the track here pre-installed. On our 2025 Ram 1500, we're only going to need 3 of these sets. So we're going to be able to remove the end cap and just remove a pair of the nuts and bolts with the washers. So now we're going to just make sure we get it lined up close as possible to the location, and we're just going to slide it on top of our brackets. And now I'm going to get underneath and make our connections with our fasteners. Now, I know you can't see right in here, but there's 2 13 millimeter nuts that we're going to fasten down, and it's going to pull down onto the bolt that was pre-installed into our running board. So I'm going to get a little tension on here, and I'm just going to go through, I'm just going to get everything just snug. And once I get all this tightened down, then I'm going to go and tighten down my brackets. So now that we have our running board attached to our brackets, we're gonna fasten down our actual bracket. So I'm gonna grab myself a ratchet and a box wrench, and we're gonna fasten this down to get the position that we want. So I'm gonna start in the center and then just go through and just still going just snug on everything, because we're gonna go back through with our torque wrench to make sure we get the specified torque spec. All right, and now that you have everything torqued down to the recommended foot-pounds from the manual, you're completely installed. Overall, the installation is pretty straightforward. However, if you're in a position where you just don't want to get underneath your vehicle, or you would just rather have someone else do it, great. Take a look at our site, and we actually have local installers that are going to be able to get this put in professionally, so you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is order. So again, this is Ed with etrailer.com, taking a look at the Romik RECTP running boards on our 2025 Ram 1500. Have a great day.